Everybody who's been there, there was a mall underneath, and then there was a next floor, and that's where, you know, the promenade was, where everybody would hang out, and tourists and all that. And I walk up these stairs to get from the mall to the promenade to finally get the street level to get out, and the towers had these giant windows, and I just found myself, I don't know, I just started making my way towards the windows to look out, to see, and, that's when I just, you see people falling, jumping, one after another, after another. I had to get my brother out there. So they exited us out, and basically just left the buildings and made our way over to City Hall Park, which is right at the base of the Brooklyn Bridge. I just turned around, and I was able to get a phone call out, luckily, to my mother, who got word out to my sisters and family that we were safe. And staring up at the towers, and now what? Because chaos ensues, and fire trucks and people. It's all I know is I got my brother out. That's all I keep saying to myself. So we're staring at the towers. How are these guys gonna put this shit up? Both towers are burning. It's insanity. And then all of a sudden, I heard the loudest crack I've ever heard in my life. The loudest noise from however far away it was. It was Tower 2, the second one to get hit, but the first one to go down. And the top just went, and then, and that was it. And then we just started running. And ran and kept running until we knew we were far enough away where we were safe. And that's it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll answer questions. I was 34 years old. My brother, whose birthday is actually today, is 6 years older than me. So, yeah. So Papa Bear wanted me to mention one other thing, and it is the truth, the absolute truth, that when we were running up Broadway towards the village, just to get uptown, I did witness 4, 5, maybe a half a dozen cab drivers who were of Middle Eastern descent celebrating in the streets. Saw it, couldn't believe it, was in such a funk that you didn't. What? Are you? Huh? Dancing? Fuck. And, when President Trump said that he witnessed it in Jersey City, that's the absolute truth too. They were jumping up and down in Jersey City. So, I don't know if I tied it all in together, but it followed me for a long time, and even before '83, I went to, as a kid, I went to New York Military Academy, which is where Donald Trump graduated from, President Trump graduated from in the '60s, and he graduated as first cadet. And that was no joke to, for a kid. First cadet was a big honor. Anyhow, it was then at military school that my military history professor at the time, Peter Ramsey, would talk to us about future conflicts and what do we envision our country being engaged with in the future with regards to enemies and what are we up against? And this is the post-Vietnam era. So I was in 9th grade. You didn't really even know much about the Middle East. I mean, you're a kid, but he would talk about that. That was our next great nemesis. Because in those days, the late 70s, early 80s, it was all about the Cold War, and But he would talk about it, and it's obviously that we're still fighting and engaged, and it could very well be for a long time. So it's a yes, sir. I did, up Broadway. Sorry, sir? I was not. I didn't get any dust on me. I got out quick enough where, I made sure that I was far enough away so when the first tower did go down, we just started running. So. I mean, the first tower hit at 8:44, I believe. The second tower hit at 9:01. I don't know. I guess 45 minutes. I was running. I almost had a fireman carry my brother. So, because he's a little bit out of shape. Yes, sir. My personal view about the Middle East? Am I running for office? I keep referencing my father. Obviously, he had a huge influence on my life. Self-made guy. Could have gone the way of the gangster, but instead went the way of the cop. That's how they were in Brooklyn. You knew each other, but he was a Brooklyn College graduate and earned his degree while he was on the job. He gave me a book. He and I were pretty avid readers, and he gave me a book called The Hajj. A gentleman by the name of Leon Uris, former Marine, by the way, wrote this book. And after World War II, I believe, he was a Jew, and he headed over to Palestine to take up the cause for whatever for that fight. But the reason I'm mentioning it is because in the book they describe the Arab mind, and this is something and I read about this I read this book in the 90s. This is how he describes the Arab mind. The Arab mind. I still don't know the difference between Arab and Muslim and all this. I'm not that educated on it, but this is the Arab way of thinking. It was the individual against his brother. So it was me against my brother. It's me and my brother against our other brother or cousin. And then there was me, my brother, and my cousin against our uncle. And it was us against and that's the insanity of the way they think, but that's the basis of their tribal mentality. And that's what it is, it's a tribal mentality. And I don't know, I mean, how do what the fuck do you even, excuse me. How do you even talk to people like that? Where, that's just not the way So, that's kind of what I think about it. I don't, I mean, was I don't know, that's that. Yes, sir. Where does he stay? Oh, he's back in New York City, which is actually where I'm going tomorrow for a week. I have two sons, 10 and 13, so, I met my wife right after 9/11. got divorced 14 years later, but that's a different story. And that's what brought me out here. I met Papa Bear. Yes, I met Papa Bear because I ride with the proud vice president of the Los Angeles Mad Dog chapter after Mad Dog Mattis, the Leathernecks Motorcycle Club. Yes, sir. Sorry? Is that got a rebel in the town? What's that? I'm in Santa Monica.
There you go. Yeah, don't walk out in front of the speaker.
All right, thanks, folks.
All right.
Oh, yes.
So, I have the travel memorial for World War Terrorism, and it actually has everything from Sorry about that. So, those of you in the circle, I haven't been here in a long time. My name is J.R. Nichols, and I built with a buddy of mine, David Brown, and my family, we built a memorial called the Global War on Terrorism Traveling Memorial. It's actually the Wall of Remembrance. It's 120 feet long, 6.5 feet high. It has the twin towers, one on each end of it. We traveled around the country. It's done over 300,000 miles, and it's traveled over 35 states, and there's a lot more to it, but it goes from, the timeline side goes from 1983, the bombing of the barracks in Beirut, Lebanon, to current day. Because it's a perpetual wall, we continually add to it. And on that memorial is everybody that we lost on 9/11, along with Beirut and all the subsequent attacks and all of our military that have lost their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan. So what I have for you is, and I don't know if a lot of you don't know, is 30 days after my stepdad, Danny, who got the Valor quilt today, he sent my mom and I to New York on October 11th, 2001. And we took a bunch of banners there, over 1,000 square feet of banners with signatures on it, and got a chance, an FBI agent walked us into Ground Zero. And so I can't even imagine what that situation was like, because I only saw it 30 days after. And yeah, there was still ash falling off the buildings, there's still papers blowing through the windows and hitting the floor. And so I've met some pretty interesting people there also when I went to Eisenhower Park out on Long Island. And out in Nassau County, and they brought us out there. We set up the memorial there on a 9/11 weekend. I'll tell you, we'll talk about that story later on, because I had a cop tell me to go get a couple suds and come back to my trailer. So anyway, what I wanted to present you with today is there's some information on the memorial, a couple stickers, maybe one for your bike, okay, and challenge coin for both you and your brother. So it's the all your guys are on it. I'll get you a sticker, baby. You got one.